Hey guys, it's Tamara here from fitknitchick.com. Welcome to FKC's Knitting Bootcamp. We're about to get started, and what I want to do today is I want to tell you a little bit about the direction we're going to take. You've all got your needles and your yarn and your stitch markers, and you're probably all itching to put that first stitch on your needle. So rather than reinvent the wheel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link up some videos to this one that show you, number one, how to put a slip stitch or a slip knot on your needle. Number two, how to do a backwards loop cast on. That's the easiest of all cast ons, although sometimes it tends to be a little bit tight. So I'm going to have you look at a third video that's going to show you a knitted cast on. And the advantage of a knitted cast on is it will create a nice firm but flexible edge to your cowl, and it will look a little bit more decorative than a standard backwards loop cast on. Okay. The other thing I like about them is if you've never knit before, once you learn the knitted cast on, you're going to be all set to learn the knit stitch. Okay, so I will link those up down below, and I'll make sure that they're also in our playlist on my YouTube channel, as well as in the document on the Facebook group. Okay, so before we get going with that, I just want to talk to you for a minute about center pull balls. Now, some of you have gone out and bought skeins. Remember those nice loose loops? And you've had your yarn wound up into what I call a yarn cake. 0 calories, my favorite kind of cake. The thing I like about a yarn cake is you can knit right from the outside of the cake, and it's not going to roll. It's not going to go anywhere. A cake's going to sit right where it is. It's not going to collapse on itself. Some people like to pull from the inside of these. I don't like it as much, because it starts to collapse on itself, and it's more likely that you'll get some knots later on in the knitting process. Okay, so there's your yarn cake. You're going to take your working yarn from the outside and go from there. Here's what a yarn ball looks like. Some of you have these balls with ball bands on them. Now you can choose to take the ball band off and find the loop, the outer side edge of the yarn. I'm going to warn you though that if you do, as you pull on this yarn when you're knitting, it's going to go bouncing all over the floor. If you have a cat or a dog, or you just have dust bunnies on your floor, it's going to cause a bit of a problem. Your cat's going to pounce on the ball, and the dust bunnies are going to get stuck to the yarn. So what I like to do is I like to stick my fingers in the end of the yarn, kind of think of it as a Christmas cracker, and you're looking for the loose piece. Okay, sometimes you have to kind of pull around. Sometimes you have to pull a little bit out to find it. It's kind of like the guts of your yarn. Some yarn is easier to find the bit than the other. It wasn't on that side, so I'm going to try this side. Oh, and there it is right there. So now I'm going to be able to just pull this nice and easy as I knit. The ball is going to stay inside the band. It's not going to roll around on me too much, and I'm not going to get lots and lots of knots in my yarn. Okay, so you've got your yarn and you've got your needles. What I want you to do is I want you to click on the first video that shows you how to make a slip stitch. Now, all of these videos are going to have a pair of straight needles rather than our single circular needle that we're using. Not a problem. Pretend they aren't attached. Pretend you have 2 straight needles and everything will be fine. Okay? So go ahead, learn to make that slip knot. Learn the backwards loop cast on. You only have to use one of the needles and your fingers to make that one happen. Try to cast on 15-20 stitches, see what it looks like, take it off, do it all over again. And then you can progress to the knitted cast on. Now you'll be using a left and a right needle, and your working yarn, let me see, we're backwards here. Your working yarn will be in your right hand, okay? The videos that I've linked up are going to show the throwing technique, because that's how I knit. There's 2 different techniques. One is a throwing, one is a picking. I don't get the picking thing. Some people say that picking or continental knitting is faster than English knitting, which is what I do, the throwing version. I'm pretty darn fast, and I have tried to relearn the other way of knitting, and it just slows me down so much that it frustrates the heck out of me. Okay, so I'm going to leave you to it. I want you to go and do that. I want you to practice. Cast on 15 or 20, take them off. Cast on 15 or 20, take them off. You want to be able to do it fairly quickly and with fairly even tension. All right, in the next video, we'll start knitting. Have a great day, guys.